How's it going, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Soccer Report podcast. I'm your host, Dante De Thomasis, alongside my co-hosts, Niko and Tony, and we're here to bring you another edition of this beautiful, beautiful podcast. Before we start, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Cataldi Fresh Market. Check them out, guys. Highway 7 in Islington. Can't go wrong. They're the best. And they got a new upcoming location. Stay tuned for that at Keele and Lawrence. It's going to be a grand opening. It's going to be beautiful, amazing. Everything's fresh.
Virtual grand opening or real grand opening?
No, real grand opening.
Not common these days.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. Check them out, guys. And now, here we are, guys. TFC.
MLS is back.
MLS is back.
MLS tournament in Orlando at Disney.
The bubble.
The bubble. You got it. Well, there's been a lot of interesting things happening. Dallas pulled out, right? And I thought that was right. I thought that was going to be the downfall of this tournament.
I thought it was going to be done.
But thankfully, somehow they managed to keep it going, right? And
You know what? It almost makes it a better tournament because with the two teams pulled out, now it's 6 groups of 4 instead of the 5 groups of 4 and 1 group of 6 teams, which is just, come on.
Absolutely.
Weird. Now it's even numbers. You know, it's working out.
Yep.
I feel bad for Dallas and Nashville because apparently a lot of them are false positives.
Right.
So they could have ended up making it work. But you know, you feel for the players. But other than that, you know, it's been a good tournament so far for viewing wise. I don't know how good the quality's been.
Yeah. You know what? I've got to say, and we were talking about this before we went on camera. The quality of play is really in question here, and I don't know if it's because the guys are out of shape. They've been off for so long. They've been doing too many virtual exercise sessions. But obviously, for some players, it's been a spectacular tournament. We're going to talk about that. But for others, it's been very lackluster. And you can see that the game itself is a slower game, a higher scoring game. It really lacks quality when you compare it to some of the other leagues that I've been watching since quarantines not come to an end, but since they allowed play in Germany, in Italy, in Spain. And then you look at the MLS, and it's a completely different level of play. What do you guys think about that?
Oh, I got to agree with you here. I mean, just watching so many games where it's like 4-3, and it's just like at the end, and then the defense is just breaking down. I mean, Toronto FC has a perfect example. You know, we've broken down so many times with DC. I mean, I guess we can get started with that one.
You want to get started in the DC,
sure.
the DC Toronto game? I mean, okay, so 2-2.
Oh my God.
2-2 at the end of the game. Toronto had the 2-0 lead, blew it at the end. I think it was, a span of 7 minutes. They scored 2 goals at the end. And, of course, it's the Toronto FC killer. Federico Higuain gets subbed on. 3 minutes later, scores a goal to bring him back to within 1. I mean, you know, it all started downhill. I mean, we made a joke in our little chat that we had that as soon as they subbed off Gonzalez and Mavinga for Zavalin and Simon, we thought, uh-oh.
Yeah,
and we were up a man. That's the scary part.
And we were up a man.
That's the scary
TFC's
part.
never played good when they're up a man, though, ever. In the history of this team.
We've lost to San Jose with
San Jose when
two
we
red
had
cards?
we've never played good when we have the advantage. I don't know what the hell that means. Like, it's bizarre.
Yeah.
Well, listen, guys, it comes down to one thing. It's a coaching error. Any coach can tell you, and I know everyone's going to say, oh, it's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback. And a lot of, me being Italian, all Italians think they're the greatest soccer coach and should be coaching the national team, which I think I could probably do. But anyways, aside from that, it's a massive coaching error to pull off 2 defensemen of quality like that, even if they're tired, at the end of the game to put on 2 guys who absolutely should not have been there. It changes the rhythm of the game. Anyone who has played the game at any level, you don't need to play in the MLS to know that you don't make that kind of switch in the last minutes of a game. Massive error when you're up 2-0 with an extra man. You deserve to lose a game like that. It's not the players who deserve to lose it. It's a coaching mistake. And this is where, I've got this love-hate relationship with Vanny. Vanny's got to know better than that. He's an experienced coach of the year. Come on, the guy's played. He's played at the highest levels. He's played in the MLS. This guy has to know that you don't make that kind of change. And I know he attributed it to the guys feeling cramped. Doesn't matter. You know what? He cannot make that change. You could change internally, like we were talking. Why not bring Bradley back? Yeah. Make a change like that, but not a complete switch. And you bring on 2 guys who, have not proven themselves.
So I got to tell you, too, I'm going to make a biology analogy here, actually. When you talk about the spine of the team, right, you have your center forward, your center mid, your center backs. Just like anything in life, when you break the spine, you can't move.
That's right.
And what did TFC do? We broke the spine.
Yeah.
Completely. So the two center backs, completely broken, and Bob's your uncle. The first goal, Higuain's on a breakaway. All of a sudden, Zavaleta and Simon are 40 yards apart. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I don't even know how that's possible because they coach you guys to always be, 10 yards.
It changes the rhythm of the players. You bring two guys on who haven't played the entire game right at the end like that.
No chemistry.
No chemistry.
Zero.
Anybody who's played can tell you can't do that.
It's brutal. And my biggest thing is, I get it if they're tired and they need a cramp. You know what you do? You're playing 3 games. You're playing 2 games in 3 days rest. Sub one of the 2 out for Simon.
Yeah.
And then the next game, do the same thing. Start both of them and then sub the other one that didn't get subbed out the day before for Simon. If you can't, my thing is you look at, all right, you're up 2-0. Half hour left in the game. You sub both of them out. You put in Zavaleta and Simon. If you can't play those 2 guys together at that type, you're up 2-0. A man, you're there. DC's a man down. You're a man up. If you can't play those 2 guys in that position, when can you play them?
Never.
They shouldn't be playing.
And if the answer is never, what are they doing taking up a roster spot? Simon, you know what?
Exactly.
Simon can play when he has a Gonzalez beside him, when he has a Mavinga beside him. He can play then. He's passable. Zavaleta, what is he doing on this team still?
Yeah, that's a great question. Great question. I know that people say he's Vanny's nephew, and it might be. It might be that, there is some nepotism there because nepotism exists in every organization. But absolutely, I agree with you 110%. A guy like that shouldn't be on the roster. He's taking up a spot. They've really got to look at that and examine that very carefully because it makes no sense. And this proved it. This situation against DC United proved that.
Yeah, 100%. And you know what? How important the center backs are for TFC too, right? Because, not TFC too, like TFC as well. Because our left and right backs are so attacking minded that they're going to get caught out. They're going to get caught out, and you're going to Larea, Moro, they love pressing
make the runs.
up there. I mean, they make the runs all the time, and what happens with that is you're going to get caught coming back. And it happens a lot, and your center backs have to be quality. And if they're not, you're going to get exposed, which is what's happened to Toronto in this tournament so far. If you look, the 2 goals at the end, our center backs got exposed because our wing backs were up in the attack. They got exposed, we got scored. Even against Montreal, I mean, 2 of them were penalty kicks that were both center back mistakes. The first goal, the guy beat Gonzalez. And of course, like our Kyoto, and I mean, you got Richie Larea, who I think's been having a great tournament so far, a great season so far, but he does get caught back defensively because he does attack a lot.
He's offensive minded.
And you know what? I'm okay with that because he's offensive minded. He scored our first goal, beautiful first goal against Montreal, but he gets caught. So does Auro. Auro, I think, has been one of our standouts of the tournament so far. In 2 games, that guy's been amazing. He's been made some good passes, some great runs. But again, our defense takes the hit for that because they're playing so offensively.
Yeah,
I agree.
Absolutely.
Speaking of offense, let's move forward to the DC, brightest spot of this tournament.
2-0 DC, Akinola.
Ayo Akinola, people. Are you kidding me right now? We got a wizard. Like, this is Magic Kingdom we got here, guys.
Like, if you think about the quality and depth of the TFC roster, there's some serious talent on this team. This team should be tearing this league up with the guys they've got on the bench, their starters. Like, just if you go down the roster, these guys should be tearing it up, especially with guys like Akinola, who has now proved that this guy's a goal scorer and he wants the ball. You see him being physical, aggressive, his shooting ability, his precision, fantastic. And you got to say to yourself, at some point, does Vanny pull this guy off if Altidore is ready and fit and good to go? That's a big decision to make. What would you guys do? Would you let him stay, or does Altidore come back on?
Clearly, Altidore isn't fit to play. That's why he's not even on the bench. I know they said at the first game, they said it was a morning game, 9 a.m., hot, super hot there. And if they're saying he wasn't perfectly fit for that, so they didn't want to rush him. And I'm fine with. And you know what? Now that we have Akinola, don't rush him.
That's it.
Sit him out this whole tournament.
Agreed.
Get him fit. If the regular season does start back up when this tournament's done, have Altidore ready to go then. Because if we got a guy like Akinola putting in these goals and we don't need Altidore, let's rest him as much as we can. Because you know what? Don't get me wrong. Altidore is a fantastic player.
Yeah,
if he's out on the field, out on the field, he's making our team better.
That's right.
100%. But let's make sure he's fit out there and not risk him going out there and getting hurt again. And especially with these quick turnarounds, the 3 days, 2 days in between games turnarounds, it's tough on the body, right?
Yeah.
So let's keep Akinola going. Let's play the hot foot. He's out there 5 goals in 2 games. He's the Golden Boot leader so far in the tournament.
Agreed.
Unleash him and let him keep going.
I gotta agree with you, Nico. I think Akinola is been absolutely incredible. But I got to tell you, too, could we see a change in formation here maybe with Akinola and Altidore? What do you guys think? Like that,
Playing
those
with a two-striker system?
Yeah, with Pozuelo. Like, Pozuelo is incredible, the way he finds these
real
passes.
playmaker.
Like, are you kidding me?
We scored 6 goals this tournament. Pozuelo has 5 assists.
That's right.
Like,
and
that's
no, but
insane.
the ball placement is just like, you can't wade the ball better with the pass. The vision it takes to see that pass.
Yeah.
Like right off kickoff, boom, Akinola's on a breakaway. Are you kidding me?
Well,
Like,
this goes back to the quality of player. You see a guy who's played in Europe, in Spain,
right.
comes over here and shines. He understands the game. He has a vision
There it
of
is,
where everybody
Vision.
is before they get there. That's the quality that we're talking about that kids aren't taught in this country, right? Kids here, it's very structured the way they learn soccer,
Right.
where in Europe it's very creative, right? Especially in Spain. Spain, it's all about creativity, and you see it with the quality of these guys, and even the South American guys, Piatti, all these
And
guys. The creativity.
Piatti's looked great
Oh,
in
yeah.
his
Fantastic.
debut. Him and Pozuelo have linked up nice, and
Beautiful
like we said
connection.
before.
and I think they're going to get better and better together
oh,
as
it's gonna be
things
scary.
Each
progress.
game, they're going to get so much better. But you know what? The one thing that this tournament has taught me so far is John Herdman of the Canadian national team needs to get his ass on the phone, calling Akinola every day and getting him to commit to Canada.
Yeah.
Because you saw, I don't know if they showed him during the game against Montreal, the coach of US
Yeah.
was sitting there
He was
watching
there,
the game.
yeah.
Because you know he's going to be on the phone with Akinola.
Oh, yeah.
Akinola played for the States young team.
Right.
But he's still
Right.
eligible to play for Canada, the States, or Nigeria.
Wow.
He's eligible to play for one of the 3.
Wow.
And he grew up in Brampton. He was born in the States, but he grew up in Brampton. He's a Brampton boy.
Oh, man.
So I mean,
He's
so I
born
need,
and
we need
raised.
we need Osorio in there in his ear saying, "Hey, man, we need
Yeah.
you to come to Canada." Because you know what? That'll be a big pickup for the Canadian team if he can go for us. I mean,
Imagine him and David.
we got a few good strikers coming up now, but you
Absolutely.
can never have too many on your roster
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
now, right? And you know they're going to be calling him to the States.
Guaranteed.
So we need to get on the phone
Yeah.
and start convincing him to come to Canada.
Right,
Yeah.
and for a young player like that, that's a huge opportunity to play in the U.S. and the funds behind the men's national team in the U.S. just outweigh anything that the Canadian national team could do.
Yeah.
So going to be a big decision for him as a young player.
Especially if he keeps this up in this tournament. He's
Oh,
only,
yeah.
I think he's like, what, 20, 21 years
Yeah,
old?
young
20,
kid.
20 years
Very
old.
young.
He's young.
Very,
so
very young.
strong. Like you seen him on the ball, bounce that defender
an
off of
That's
him.
that's
It's just
yeah.
the 4th goal against
Amazing
Montreal.
goal.
He just
Tossed them.
ran, boom, shoulder tackle
Absolutely.
on a break and a good finish too.
Great finish.
Good
The
finish to
precision.
chip.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great finish. He's been a standout player of this tournament by far.
fantastic.
I agree. I'm so happy for him.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for him because, like, I remember too when he got a bit of playing time against New England. I saw the spells. I saw his movement off the ball, and his tenacity and things like that. But now it's just exploded on a stratosphere of its own.
I agree with you. There's just so much young talent. Richie Larea, like we were
Yeah,
saying, another super
exactly.
talented young guy. A lot of depth on that TFC two. TFC, not TFC two, but
Yeah.
TFC is stacked.
Yeah,
right.
we are.
Like they got a great bench. They got great starters. Like we got to win this tournament. We got to win this tournament, and then eventually, if we go back to league play, I think the season could be a great season. If not for Vanny screwing things up. But other than that.
And now Akinola. So he's now. There's only 2 players in TFC history that have scored as many times as they've started. Achara, because he's got 1
That's
goal and
right,
1 start,
yeah.
and now Akinola has 7 goals and 7 starts. That's an impressive stat. And also, he's
Very
the 5th
impressive.
person to get a hat trick for TFC.
Yep.
The good question is, and maybe you guys can think about that. Can you name the other 4 that have gotten a hat trick for TFC?
Oh God. Well, Jovinko. Let's
Jovinko, I think has 4 or 5 of them for TFC. I think there's 9. I think it was the 9th hat trick in TFC history. Jovinko, I think, has 4 or 5 of them. And then the others, Altidore's got 1.
Yeah.
De Rosario's got 1.
yeah.
Justin Morrow's got 1.
Justin
I don't know
Morrow.
if you remember that game from about 2 or 3 years ago when he
it
put in a
San-
hat trick from the left back
Was it
position.
San Jose or something?
I think it might he scores 3 goals right now, and then now
Wow.
Akinola's the 5th.
Wow.
Impressive. Good company to be in. You got your
Absolutely.
Giovincos, your
Yeah.
Altidores, your De Rosarios.
Yeah. Hopefully Akinola could stay long term
Yeah.
and.
I mean, no offense. If he could keep playing like this, that guy's getting himself to Europe.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, I
Guaranteed.
gotta
Absolutely.
say, okay, guys, let's move on here. TFC's got a big game coming up Tuesday.
Revolution.
New England Revolution. They look pretty good in this tournament.
Yeah, we're tied for first with them, right?
Yeah.
They got 4 points. We got 4 points.
That's right.
Big game. Winner gets first place in the group.
Do you think we could take them?
Oh hell yeah!
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't see any team in this tournament that TFC can't take.
I
That's
totally
true.
agree. You know what? It's their tournament to lose.
That's right.
They've got the quality, the depth, the scoring ability. Defense, unfortunately, I wouldn't blame the players. A little shaky, but at the end of the day, it's their tournament to lose.
That's right.
They've got what it takes to go all the way, and they should. And if they don't win it, it's going to be somebody's fault. And I'm going to say it goes back to coaching, not the quality of the play on the field.
But you look at the players; they have the talent, like you were saying, and when you watch the games too, like Montreal. You look at the score at the end of the game, 4-3. But really, it was 4-2. They scored a penalty kick in the 94th, 95th minute, whatever it was. They put a goal in at the end there, whatever. It makes it look like it's a closer game than it was on paper. They got 2 penalty kicks there. Give me a break. Toronto dominated that game. There was at times where Montreal looked really good, but Toronto was the better team. They put the goals in. Every time they lost the lead, they made sure they got it right back. It was Toronto's game. That team right there, I haven't seen any other team right now in this tournament that looks like, okay, you know what, they're a bit scary. Right. It's Toronto's tournament to lose. I feel like they are the best team. You look at other teams that were supposed to be good, like Seattle, Atlanta. None of them are playing
Atlanta's
well. Right? So it's Toronto's tournament to lose. And you know what? Anything can happen in this MLS Is Back tournament, so you never know. But I think they have to be the favorite team to win right now.
Nico, I gotta agree with you. I think it's unanimous here. But I don't think we can take New England lightly. I think they have some pieces there like Gustavo Bo. They have a few pieces that can cause a little trouble on our back line. And hopefully it's not the case. But, I mean, the way we've been playing defensively, you never know. All it takes is 1 or 2 goals. And, you know, if New England parks the bus.
but that's where I'm confident. I'm confident even if they get 1 or 2 goals, I'm confident we can put in 3 or 4 goals.
Yeah, that's true.
The way we've been playing. I mean, even in the DC game, the one thing we haven't mentioned is that as good as Akinola played, he could have had 4 goals in that first half alone. He was put in twice, where one time he stumbled, and then the second time he got off a bad shot and the goalie had an easy save. There's 2 opportunities right there where I guarantee you if he had those opportunities now after the game and the confidence he has, he puts both of those in as well. I'm not worried about our team scoring goals, which is something that we all talked about last season on the podcast. That we were so worried about was how is this team going to score goals when Altidore was hurt last season. Now, I'm not worried about us scoring goals. We're going to get the goals.
But I think you hit the nail on the head. Guys like Pozuelo and Piatti, now these guys are setting these guys up.
Exactly.
That's what we needed. We needed the playmaker, the setup man, and we have that now because these guys are strong up front, right? And I think, we got depth. You got Altidore, who's ready to go, super strong guy that when the ball's on his foot, most of the time he's going to score, right? So we're definitely, we've got the firepower. We should be scoring goals every game. So I'm not worried. Just, Nico, I agree with you 110%. I think goals won't be our issue this year.
No, not at all. And I mean, looking forward into the tournament too. New England, they just tied DC 1-1. Higuain, he's the one who came in again. Higuain subbed in, and then 5 minutes later he scored to tie the game up for them. My God, this guy, I don't know how old he is, but he's still putting in those goals, man. Yep. I mean, Columbus, the Columbus is looking good. There's a lot of teams that are looking not bad, but again, it goes down to TFC just has the talent on the team.
Yeah, that's right.
They got the talent and they got the depth to compete not outside of our center backs. Please let Gonzalez and Mavinga stay healthy the whole tournament, because if they're not healthy, we're in some serious trouble. But I like our odds. I like our odds in going through this tournament. It's good because if they say the regular season continues, these games count towards the regular season, which puts us at 4 extra points in this tournament so far. If we can beat New England, which I don't think we'll have a hard time beating them. I can't see them competing really. Toronto's just that good of a team right now.
Absolutely.
So guys, we're moving forward. We have all this depth now in the midfield, but that's got to leave out somebody, right? Who do you think gets left out? Is it Delgado?
Well, we're missing
Osorio.
Osorio's off right now because he's got a knock on him apparently. Actually, I thought Osorio was the one that had that tested positive for coronavirus in the first game because a random player tested that positive. It was an inconclusive test, and then Osorio doesn't show up in the lineup. I was kind of worried, but apparently he just has a hamstring or something injury.
Right.
I think we are missing him right now in the midfield. He is a player that kind of brings some control and some leadership on the pitch.
Now experience.
He has experience. We're missing him there, but again, if you put him in, who do you take out is the question.
Exactly.
My pick is Delgado. I know Delgado puts some stuff on the defensive end. He plays back with Bradley well. But you know what? I feel like Osorio can play that role as well and still press forward and not be as invisible as a Delgado is.
So I got a beef with Delgado because Delgado came out earlier this year and said he would never play with TFC
he said it's his last year.
Right? So you got to put your money where your mouth is. If you call out your organization and you're letting your GM, your coach, and the whole organization know that you're not coming back, why would you sign a new contract? Tells me one of 2 things. Either he's not confident in his abilities to play with another team, or he doesn't think that he'd be successful in another team, or he did it for the money, because I think he signed for $300,000 US contract. So a guy like that, would be gone for me. If I was a general manager and he came out publicly and said he would never play for TFC again, I would never offer him a contract. That is shaky management. He should have never been re-signed. He's the first guy to go for me if I were part of the general management team.
Yeah, I don't know who does that, who sits in an interview before the season starts and says, this is my last season with Toronto. And then after, when there's some feedback, say, oh, I just meant because it's on the last season of my contract, I guess I could re-sign. That's your backtracking right there. You said it in the interview. I think it was with Christian Jack. And he goes, this is my last season with Toronto FC. Here's my issue, because you got a lot of Marky Delgado sympathizers in Toronto FC's fan base who say you don't see the good things that he does. And you know what? That's fine. Maybe he does some good things on the pitch, his movement, his positioning, his passing, whatever. But if I'm watching the game and I'm giving him the eye test, and you're looking at a guy who's virtually invisible for 75 out of the 90 minutes of the game, why? And he's already talking the way he's talking, let him go and find another team. I think everyone says he does good things. I think he's the biggest benefit from playing around good talent that there is.
Correct.
You put him on a team like Colorado Rapids. You put him on a team like the Montreal Impact, and he is nowhere near. People are going to watch him, and he's going to get exposed for the player he is. Honestly, listen, in our cup run, he's had some good games, but I think he's playing the way he plays because he has the talent around him, because he's got Bradley beside him, because he's got Pozuelo in front of him. They make him look way better than he actually is, and I agree with you, To. As soon as you say something like that, this is my last year with Toronto, I'm the GM, no, this isn't your last year with Toronto, because I'm finding somewhere to get you out right now.
Absolutely.
And he clearly is replaceable in this lineup.
Oh, for sure.
Like it's
absolutely.
Without a
you know
doubt.
what? You want to throw a story on there? You want someone defensively? Throw Liam Fraser in there.
That's
got
right.
That's right.
You got
And
the
he's
players
never,
to take that position.
You know what? That's one person I feel really bad for, because where's his opportunity? Bradley got hurt. We were all thinking, Liam Fraser, this is your opportunity. This is your time to shine.
And then nothing. He didn't even get the two games. He didn't get the minute there.
Didn't even get a minute.
Finally got a minute. He finally got in the Montreal game.
But
at
it was
the end,
late.
But
You didn't have a chance to
The
showcase
problem is it's a
yourself.
stacked team.
It's
right?
a
It's a stacked team.
And you see those young guys on the bench. You got Jaden Nelson. You got Jaquil
Oh my
Marshall,
God, it never
Rudy.
ends,
You got Schaffelberg. You got
Yeah.
Griffin Dorsey. You got all these guys, young guys on the bench, and it's hard to find when they're going to get playing time.
right.
It's crazy.
Especially now with TFC 2 not having a season
Yeah,
potentially.
the
because
USL called their season.
No, USL's back open. TFC 2 is not going into it because of the border
Right,
issues.
right,
So
right.
TFC 2 is not playing. So my thing is, loan as many as you can out to the CPL if they get a tournament. Or
But that
put
gives us a
TFC
chance
2
to
in the
sign.
CPL.
Guys, you want to talk about another stacked team? TFC2 is stacked.
For the USL? Oh, yeah.
I got to tell you,
It
there's
is
some
insane,
amazing
yeah.
players. We got a friend of the show, Fido Oval, whose brother
Came
just
on.
got
He
signed.
just got
That's
signed.
right.
I saw
Nicholas
that.
just
Yeah.
got
Yeah,
signed.
congratulations,
And
Nicholas.
their family, his dad runs a club in Salt Lake City, Utah, and it's called The Rock. And it is one of the biggest youth organizations in the U.S. And this guy produces champions originally from Chile. I think he played with the Chilean national team for a little bit.
Wow.
But anyways, producing some amazing players. And they keep funneling these great players to TFC2. TFC2, I'm telling you guys, the future's bright for TFC because
yeah.
if they just keep pulling
funneling.
from those...
You got to think, even if they hit on only 30% of the players on TFC 2, you're still looking at 6-7 guys that are going to be MLS
there's
quality,
a lot.
right?
There's a lot. Jordan Peruzza, too.
Oh, yeah.
There's
yeah,
a ton.
absolutely.
There's a ton.
Absolutely.
No,
a lot
they-
of great talent.
Yeah, and it's TFC's future is bright, and they're finally getting on the right track. The academy's looking good.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm
The TFC
so
2's
happy.
looking good. The coaching, the development, everything is looking good for us. You know what I mean? So it's a good team to be a fan of, and it's a fun time.
Yeah.
I mean, we deserved it after that 10+ years of garbage.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
so we
Man, oh,
definitely deserve it. But you know what? This team's looking like it's going to be a good team for the years to come, which I like.
Yeah. We need a good run. We need 3 or 4 championships. We need to be the Chicago Bulls of the MLS.
Yeah, we need a nice
you know?
dynasty.
Absolutely.
You know? I want to have a Netflix documentary
You
in
got it.
15+
That's
years
right.
about this team. You know?
Yep. Absolutely.
That would be pretty cool.
Absolutely.
And I love to see Giovinco still giving love for Toronto. A few days ago, he
did,
posted
yeah,
on
he
Instagram.
did,
He posted
that's
he's still him in his TFC jersey with the Canada flag there, and he's still
He
got
loves
love for
this
Toronto.
city. He
loves
loves
it
this
so
city.
much.
And my thing is, how good of a brand ambassador is that? Because you look at soccer players now who are playing in Europe, and you see a guy like Giovinco. You know what he's not doing? He's not showing out how much he loves Juventus and Turin and everything. He's
Yeah.
not giving the love like that. He's giving the love to Toronto, a
Yeah.
team that he came to play for that no one would have thought he would have stuck at.
That's right.
He came, he loved it. It's got to be a great endorsement for the city to have a guy like that
Absolutely.
still talking about how much he loves it. He still lives. I don't know if he still has a house. I think he still has
He
a place
does,
here,
he
right?
does.
Like
His wife's still
just
here.
goes to-
His
it's just
still here.
yeah.
it just goes to show how much Toronto has an impact on these players. And you see that as a player in Europe who's maybe making not as much money as he wants to make. Maybe, hey, listen, I'm going to see if Toronto wants to pay me a lot more to come play there.
So many of these guys have said it. Like Bradley has said, Toronto's his home now.
Yeah,
he
his
loves
kids got
Toronto.
Canadian citizenship. I'm pretty sure.
Another one who says he loves
yeah.
Toronto. He's got a home here too.
High endorsement.
So it's great endorsement for the city of Toronto itself.
Yeah, you gotta love it. You love to see it, right? And
Exactly.
hopefully this keeps it up. And we got a great development system, but we still got to bring in the big talent from Europe too. So if we can, and with all this endorsement of Toronto, let's keep bringing them in.
Absolutely, and it's been working, right? Like you see it with guys like Pozuelo, Piatti, all these international guys. They add a flair to the team that was non-existent before they came in.
My God, and seeing Piatti and Pozuelo mix up together it was so pretty.
I want to see them in 10 games.
I can't wait. And you know what? As much as I love Akinola, he still does have a lot to learn.
Yeah, he's a
in
young
the game.
guy.
But he's learning quick.
I'm just salivating over the thought of Pozuelo and Piatti with Altidore healthy in the middle.
Oh, they're gonna feed him.
They're gonna feed so much. Like Pozuelo and Altidore together played it awesome last year. Throw Piatti there to add a different triangle almost type formation there.
That was the thing I mentioned too. Is could he be that Victor Vasquez type player? And he's even better. He as long as he's healthy.
That's funny you say Victor Vasquez. He's another guy who loves Toronto and was dying to come back.
He said on the Footy Talk Live or whatever with KJ and Caldwell, I think it was, and he said he said, you know what? I made two big mistakes in my career. He said leaving Belgium to go to Mexico was the first big mistake, and then leaving Toronto was his second big mistake. He said he thought he had one more chance to get a decent contract, but he said it was a mistake. He said he wished he stayed in Toronto. You see that, and then as soon as you see that, you start seeing people, Victor Vasquez is going to come back, we're going to get him on a deal.
Right.
Listen, I love the guy. Yeah. We don't need him.
No.
Where's he going to play? Good, and don't get me wrong, Victor Vasquez was probably the most important piece that TFC's ever signed, because when we had Giovinco and Altidore together, they didn't have enough to win that title.
That's right.
They brought in Vasquez, and he pushed them over the top to be the best MLS team of all time in 2017.
Yep.
So you know what? As great as he was, he's 3 years older now. Yeah. I don't think we need him, especially with Pozuelo playing the middle the way he does. We don't need him.
And Piatti's a younger version
and
of him.
Piatti can go over onto the wings and stuff like that. So you know what I mean? We don't need him. I love him. Victor Vasquez, I love him. He's a legend. I think he's one of the most important signings in TFC history.
I agree.
But we don't need him.
Yeah. Not now. Not at this point.
Not at this point in time. No. But you know what? You gotta love to see the love for Toronto staying with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, before we wrap up, we gotta have some predictions here for this New England game. Nico, what do you think?
All right, predictions, New England. I'm going to say 3-1 Toronto. I'm going to say Akinola gets one. And I'm going to say Pozuelo finally scores one. And then we'll give one to new boy Piatti as well. We're gonna spread the wealth. A nice 3-1 victory. And I'm going to go on record and say Akinola wins Golden Boot of the tournament. I know that's not a prediction we're asking for, but 5 goals in 2 games, that's got Golden Boot written all over him.
I was in the TFC chat, and I told them after the DC game, he's gonna be the leading goal scorer.
Golden Boot, baby. He's gonna bring that home to Toronto.
We'll see what happens. But Toll, what do you think?
Guys, I think Toronto's gonna win. I take him for the tournament and for the whole season. I think, like I said, they've got a lot of depth. Their firepower up front, offensively, you can't beat them. I agree with Nico. The Golden Boot's coming for Akinola. It'll be a close game, though. This game will be much closer because now other teams have watched them. They know what to look for.
Right.
Who knew about Akinola before this? They weren't planning on him coming out and tearing it up.
Piatti.
Exactly.
The only guy they were looking at was Pozuelo.
So you know that New England's studying the tape right now. They know what to do. The only person that can screw this up is Vandy. He is the only person who can screw it up for TFC. The players, I think, you know what, at the end of the day, like I said, the depth, it's their tournament. They're going to win this game. It will be close, though, because I think New England will be very prepared.
I don't know, guys. I have a weird feeling about this game. I actually think it's going to be a draw, 2-2. I hope I'm not true. I hope you two are correct, but it's just, I don't know. I have a weird feeling with the defense. I think it could be a high-scoring draw, so 2-2.
No, if we leave our regular defense on and don't pull them off,
that's
when we're winning,
that's my biggest concern.
You got it.
It could go either way. I mean, we got the 5 subs rules, so you never know who's coming on in the game with Vandy's subs, but I don't know. New England, I think New England's overplayed their hands so far. They beat Montreal, they tied DC, now they're going to get a loss to Toronto.
Exactly.
Before we end, though, Thierry Henry, 2 losses in the tournament, didn't want to say anything good about Akinola after the game. They asked him about him, and he said, I'll let the other coach talk about their players. I don't like talking about the other team's players.
Listen,
give me a break.
I think he's bitter.
He's got the Wayne Gretzky syndrome, just to make the hockey analogy. You can be a fantastic player, which he was. Thierry Henry, one of the best in history. World Cup winner. Doesn't mean you're going to be a great coach. And we're seeing that with him. And I think someone made a comment. One of an ESPN guy said, you know what? He's going to go down as one of the worst coaches in MLS history. You mark my words.
Yeah,
and so far he is.
And he was one of the worst coaches in France, or he was coached there, and now he's going to be bad here. I will give him credit. In their first game against New England, when he kneeled for the first 8 minutes and 46 seconds of the game, that was respectable. That was an awesome move, real class move on his part. Like, great. And you know what? I love Thierry Henry as a person. Every time you hear him talk like that, back in the day when he played and everything like that, great guy. He seems awesome. Just not a coach. You know, he doesn't seem like he knows what to do out there, man.
I think he's more of a management type of
he would be a guy that would excel on a team that has the talent, and you just need someone there to grab their respect.
Or even like a forward type of
tactic-wise, he's not there. But you put him on a team like Barcelona, who has all the talent in the world, and they just need a guy that they respect to tell them who's coming on.
Well, they sort of did that with Zidane, right? Yeah, Zidane didn't know how to coach, but now he's working.
Now he's working. But he had the team, and he had the respect. And that's what Thierry Henry has right away. He has respect. But when you come coaching in the MLS, respect gets you nowhere. You need to have good tactics. You need to play the game well. You need to use your subs well. And I don't think Thierry Henry knows how to do that.
Or understands the North American game, because it's a very different game.
He played here, didn't he? He was on the Red Bulls?
Yeah. He
was on the Red Bulls, right?
But I still don't think he gets it. At the end of the day, he spent most of his career in Europe, and this is a foreign game for him.
It's different. And you know, he's in a good landing spot. He's in French Canada right there in Montreal. So it suits him well. He's probably got a nice lifestyle there.
Oh, for sure.
But he can't coach. And you know what? You love to see it when they're on the Montreal Impact, you know?
Hey, neither can Banny, but TFC's doing great. So, goes to tell you don't really need a coach if you got great players. That's the bottom line. It's true. Great players play to win. They don't need a coach. You look at, and I hate to bring it up, but I'm going to look at Juventus. Juventus has been struggling as of late, and that is because of Sarri. Their coach does not get the respect from guys like Ronaldo. Because Ronaldo, obviously, I think he is probably one of the greatest players of all time. Understands the game probably better than anybody. And you see him talking to Sarri, there is a lack of respect from the players, because these are quality guys. They don't need a coach to tell them what to do. They know what to do. You need to motivate your team as a great coach. And great coaches know how to do that. And another example is Gattuso, who went to Napoli, who thought he was going to be a filibuster over there, but he has done phenomenally well because he's a motivator. That's a coach's job. You don't need to coach tactically or technically a guy who's 25, 26, who's been playing professionally since he was 5 years old.
Should know what to do.
Okay, they know what to do.
We said
coaches got to motivate.
We said when they hired Sarri, we said that's the wrong hire.
Absolutely, coaches got to motivate. And you know what? With Thierry Henry, I watched him. At the end of the day, he might be a great human being, really nice person, but on the sidelines, is he gonna gather the respect of that team? I don't know. I really don't know. And another point is that, listen, he's an older guy. A lot of these 19, 20-year-old guys barely remember him. They're watching video of him, but, they don't know who he was. So he's not going to have the same respect that a guy like me would give him, because I watched him play. I saw how great he was. These young guys aren't going to have the same level of respect.
Yeah, not to mention all the Irish people that hate him.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, guys, I think that's time. It was
let's
very,
go
very
TFC.
good podcast. Let's go TFC. Go bring it back home, guys. The MLS is back. Stay tuned for more videos, guys. Check us out on YouTube at the Soccer Report Podcast, Instagram at the Soccer Report Podcast. We're on Apple Music, Google Play, and Spotify. You guys take care. Have a great weekend.
Let's go
Take
Toronto.
Toronto.